again, everybody. It's Kevin Knessa coming to you from the home studio today on this, the, 16th day of May in the year 2024. Sure glad you decided to join Tony and me tonight. And we have a special guest with us today. It's Danny Conde, who is the band director at Kearny High School. And he joins us today. But before we get to Danny, I'm going to turn things over to Tony. Tony, good to see you, brother.
Thank you, Kev. Back from my self-imposed exile. And we have a special guest tonight, Danny Conde, for the Kearny High School band director. I know Dan when he was the band director over at Harrison High School with many years of doing a great job with the Sound Waves music group. Great band there. And also, some of you may know, he's also the musical director, even currently, with the Harrison High School plays. He just got off of Starmites, about a month or so ago with a great performance over there. But tonight, Dan's going to talk about the concert coming up on Tuesday night. So welcome aboard, Dan.
Thank you for having me. It's a pleasure to see you guys and be in this program.
Very good. Now, tell us a little bit about the concert, what the night looks like on Tuesday coming up, and give us a little preview if you can.
Of course. So we have our annual spring concert on May 21st at 7 p.m. It's a free admission concert. We're going to show all of our performances that we've been preparing since maybe even the beginning of this year, of the school year. You'll see the choir. Miss Gonzalez, our choir director. She's also our choreographer and director for our musical here at Kearny High School. She has her choir there performing a couple of selections from La La Land. As well as her advanced choir, which is called the K-Birds. They're going to perform too. Then we have loads of ensembles. We have the jazz band that I run, as well as this new ensemble we call Percussion Tech, which are students who are not really part of the band as of yet, but they're learning how to play percussion so they can join the band later on. So this is a way to grow the marching band and the drum line. And then at the second half, we'll have the concert band, which is they just received top honors at this Teen Arts Festival, which we go against other schools in Hudson County. And I think it's been over 15 years that the Kearny High School band has ever achieved this honor. So it was a really great performance that they put on for that festival.
Doing my homework for this interview, way back in the day, the Kearny High School band used to be in competitions out in the Meadowlands Giant Stadium, and actually, placed in them. So I guess with former band directors, you have a very big shoes to follow. How many children or how many students do you have involved, Dan? With the band and with the program, and what's their day look like? How does this all start? How do they get to this night coming up on Tuesday night?
So I started working at Kearny High School 2 years ago. So this is I'm completing my second year here. My first year, or rather my first day that I got here, I had 12 students. It was a interesting feat because of, like Tony mentioned, I came from Harrison High School and I really built that program to where it is. And it was a culture shock because coming in now to rebuild another program was a challenge, but that's my favorite part, having challenges. So I made sure the first day we started working together. I got to know the students, and as of now, presently, we have 62 students in the concert band. So it's a huge jump, and it's growing, which is great. So how we prepare ourselves for the concerts, we have a 0-period class Monday through Friday. We start rehearsal at 7:30 a.m. up to 8:15 a.m. That's Monday through Friday. Now, I'm sure you're thinking, man, these students are waking up early to practice their instruments and having a rehearsal at 7:30 in the morning. It is difficult, but they love it. They love coming in and they love playing their music. And I also teach pull-out lessons throughout the day. So I teach them privately or in groups. I stay after school to help them. During their lunchtime, they can come up here and practice. They can have their own little sectionals. to practice together. And I have the jazz band, like I mentioned. We do that after school, so students have to audition to be part of the jazz band. So they're just constantly just playing. They never stop playing, and they never leave, which is a good thing. They stay here because they love being here. They love playing their instruments. Um, and because of the growth in the concert band, it's also going into the marching band. So the marching band is growing as well. So it's just a lot of consistency. And I think, and coming from Kearny High School, my obsession is to continue growing this program to make it just overflow with students in Kearny High School to play a band. I want the students to overflow the stage. So that's my obsession, and I love what I do. So it's never just work. They love playing, and it's going to be really fun.
I'll tell you, I'm a big follower of yours, Dan, from Harrison High School, and my God, the things you did with that sound waves, and if you only do half of it with the Kearny High School band and the chorus, we're in for quite a show on Tuesday. And Kevin, Danny, these bands can rival some college bands. That's how good he gets these children, these students. They really do a phenomenal job. And I'm a very big supporter of the music and the arts. And I have to say, Dan, I really miss you over at Harrison High School. But it's Kearny's game, and you're in for quite a show.
Yeah, it's when you say that, it makes me happy because when I was at Harrison, my obsession was to make sure that Harrison's band, when I was there, is to be better than Kearny's band. That was my obsession. So I just kept working and working and working. And then and my dream goal since sophomore year of high school here, I said to myself, I'm going to come back here to be the band director one day. So when I got that call, I couldn't miss that opportunity. Opportunity just comes and it goes if you miss it. Like, you can miss it at any time. So I made sure. It took a lot of courage to say, yes, let me go for it. And I took that step forward, and now we're here. And now my obsession is just to make it the best band in the entire county. So it's just, I never stop. And the kids know that I'm crazy like that, but they appreciate that because they see the passion that I exude, and they want to replicate that. They want to have that passion as well.
Well, tell us a little bit about how that happened. Like, what happened? Were you recruited from Kearny? Like, did they try to poach you away from Harrison High School? How did that all go down, Danny?
Well, I know my supervisor, Kathleen Estrella. She's a great woman, and I know you've talked to her a lot, Kevin.
She was my teacher in 1985, so
yeah.
I'll give you an example here.
Yeah, she was my counselor by mistake. I thought that she was my counselor when I was in school, but then I had another counselor. But we always kept in touch, and I received a student teacher from Kearny High School to come to Harrison, and so I took her under my wing because she wasn't having a good time learning here in Kearny High from the music educator. So that's how I got reconnected with Miss Estrella, and I invited her to the concert because I'm proud of what the band has played. I think that was the year 2021 spring concert, and I invited her because we were playing some great pieces, and I wanted to share that with her. And she saw what she that I did, and what I was doing with the band, and especially with all the I had one period lesson a day with Harrison High School, and she just saw what I could do, and then she reached out to me over the summer and said that there's a position opening up, and that I should apply for it, and that's what I did, and here I am. I believe in patience. Good things happen to good people. You just have to wait, and I waited. I guess I waited long enough, and opportunity just came.
Tremendous, great move too. Very good move on her part. I think Tony and I would agree on that without even hesitating, right? A great move to.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate it. I can't imagine now where I want to be. Just all I want to be is just in Kearny. I of course help out the musical at Harrison High School, and it's all thanks to Mr. Shields there. He does a fabulous job there with the musical. I would do anything for that guy. We went to school together, and he's just a genius. And he deserves all the accolades too. He works super hard, and if he calls saying, "Mr. Conde, can you come back?" I'll say yes in a heartbeat. You know.
How do you do it though? I mean, you're doing all this stuff in Kearny. I know you were involved with the play there too. And how do you balance it? Do it in Harrison too. That's amazing. I couldn't imagine it.
Yeah, I say that to myself sometimes.
Yeah,
I live in town, thankfully,
yeah.
so that's helpful. So my schedule, and I'm just crazy like that too. I wake up at 3:30 in the morning every day, and I go to the gym to work out. So I go to the gym because in my, I guess a little backstory, I lost over 100 pounds over the pandemic. Yeah. So then I continue to work out. So that's like my therapy, I guess. Some people have coffee, but I use the gym. Uh, so then I get here at 7:15, teach band. I finish the school day. I sometimes have ensembles. I also involve myself in the video game club here that competes in esports. And then during the musical season, I stay here sometimes till 9 o'clock. And then on Tuesdays and Thursdays, I go to Harrison High School, and then I'll teach them vocally till 9. So during the musical season, it's very, very long. So I'm up from 3:30 to 9 p.m. And because I live in town, I get to go straight home and go to sleep. And then it's just nonstop. But it's like that during marching band season too. And then I have the summer band program as well at Kearny High School. So yeah, I never stop.
So Dan, what do you get? Like really the month of July off, or are you gearing up for band camp?
I'm actually gearing up for band camp. I have like maybe a week and a couple of days off here and there. But in as soon as graduation hits in June 21st, I'm back here at work doing a summer program, which I have some incoming freshmen, and I prepare them for the following year for concert band, because I don't want them to be completely cold coming into high school, because high school in itself, just coming to a different school is a little, I'm sure that's a little scary for them. So I want to help them in that transition, especially with concert band, because it's a different animal. It's like going from regular math, and then you have calculus right into the high school. It needs to be a better transition for them. So I want them to take the summer band program, even if they miss a couple of days because of vacation. It doesn't matter, as long as they come in, they understand what I'm looking for, how I can teach them, understand my pedagogy and teaching, and they transition in a much better way. And then marching band starts in August. So yeah, it's just nonstop, but it's okay. I
Wow,
love it.
that's dedication, Kevin. What you said?
I I don't know. I don't even know what to say. Like,
Yeah.
because it's mind-boggling. I mean, do you take any time off for yourself during the course of the year?
Well, there are like the Christmas break and the spring break and everything. I prioritize weekends to like really shut myself away from
Right.
work. So like I know Monday through Friday I'm just straight okay work. As soon as I get out of school, which is either 5 o'clock or 9 o'clock depending if it's marching season or
Right.
musical season, I like disassociate myself, and then that I think I use that by going to the gym too. So using that to take care of myself, it gets me prepared to tackle the day. You know, so I've been doing this for so long, and even in Harrison too. Right before the pandemic hit, it was during Bubble Boy. At Harrison, I was still contracted with them. Um, Something happened here at their musical where their music director wasn't available. So that's where Miss Estrella actually, that was the first time, and I completely forgot, that was the first time she reached out to me saying, "Can you help us?" And I said,
Right.
"Sure, of course, anything for Miss Estrella." So she called me. We were about to do it. I had only 1 week to study their entire Adams Family score. So I had a flight to Texas. So I was studying the score nonstop, reading it, understanding it, and then I came in, did the SITS probe, and then the pandemic hit, and everything just shut down. So with that in mind, like that's how I just got into this routine of just okay, this is how I have to do it. I got to do this, and I prioritized my mental health and separated my social life and my work life, and I made sure to keep those things separate so it's not intertwined.
What a system. That is
Yeah,
just
yeah, yeah.
amazing how you can balance it like that. I mean people who've been doing this for a long time can't come up with a system like that. That you're able to do it is remarkable. It really
Yeah,
is.
thank you, thank you.
Yeah. Tell me a little bit about the Adams family too. I don't want to, go too far back in time, but
Yeah.
that was a great thing that you were able to pick it up 4 years later after having it canceled on you because of COVID. So
Yeah.
tell us how everything went with that too.
So when Miss Estrella called me for the 4 years ago to do Adam's Family, honestly, I was nervous because in at Harrison High School we never had an orchestra pit, right during that time.
Hmm.
So this was my first time, like I said, opportunity. You can't miss the opportunity. So when Miss Estrella called me, I made sure to say yes, and I will struggle, but I will learn. I got the score, studied everything that I needed to do it, and then I got to meet all the cast that was casted at that time. So I got to meet with them, work with them. They were great, great voices, great talent. Um, but unfortunately, because of COVID, it completely stopped. But then when we picked it up, it was great. We were able to. Ms. Estrella wanted me to. Sorry, I'm skipping
It's
timeline.
okay. Yeah.
Yeah. So then when we did pandemic, right? We were going to try to do Adam's Family again. We were going to try it again during like the first hybrid year, right? Like right
Right.
after COVID. But unfortunately, they weren't able to do it. So I was still contracted with Harrison. Then they didn't decided not to do Adam's Family because all those kids graduated. So then we were gonna do In the Heights, but I wasn't the music director for that. Not yet. I was still working with Harrison, and Harrison at that time was doing the Apple Tree. All right, you remember that, Tony? The Apple Tree? Yeah.
No,
That that
I came in at Schoolhouse Rock.
Oh, he came in school. Oh man, that was when I tell you Mr. Shields is a genius. That show, he was a genius. So that was the first time that the Apple Tree had it, or rather, in Harrison's High School Musical, they did the Apple Tree. That was the first time they had an orchestra. They had I think, a 18-piece orchestra. So I was learning that book. Then I think around October or even January, I got the call from Kearny saying, "Hey, our music director's not there. Can you do In the Heights?" So now I was studying two books. I was doing the Apple Tree Orchestra and In the Heights Orchestra at the same time. So I had 1 week of shows of a completely different musical, and then the following week a completely different musical at another school. So that was insane. But other than that, like that prepared me to do what I do now, which is two musicals at the same time, right next door to each other, and that's how Adam's Family. I knew what I wanted to do because I studied it so long ago, and now I get to see it take action
Yeah.
with the vocalists because I didn't get to work with the vocalists, like I didn't teach it to them, right? I just had to use what they knew and conduct them. But now this time I got to tell them exactly what I wanted them to do, what I'm going to do as a conductor. And that's how everything came together.
Remarkable. Absolutely
Yeah.
remarkable. Tony?
Kevin, I'm telling you, this guy's amazing. All right, he talks about Schoolhouse Rock, but let's get into Starmites for a second.
Yeah.
He takes the stage manager from last year, Alexa Hernandez. She hits it out of the park.
Yep.
Great for him. I said to him as we were having lunch one day, me and Dan, and we both got had 10 minutes for ourselves. I
Yeah.
said, "How'd you feel when this girl starts singing and it caught lightning in a bottle there?" And then the year before that, he has Trixie Rodriguez, and then you have that special moment at the end of Starmites where Trixie and Alexa sing a song together, and it all comes together at the end. that was, and he said that Schoolhouse Rock was great.
Mm,
Starmite blew it out of the park. Kevin,
yeah.
Starmite was as close as I've ever seen to a Broadway show. Period.
Danny, you should have seen Tony's reaction. You may have even seen it. I mean, I've never seen somebody rave about a high school musical the way he did. And
Yeah.
then we started getting phone calls too from. I got a call from a woman who was 90, who lives in Harrison, who said it was the first show she had ever seen, and it was like nothing she could have ever experienced in her life. Like she's been to Broadway shows, but never to a high school musical,
Oh, such a
and
great
she
compliment.
didn't stop raving about it. So I'm not one bit surprised to hear any of this.
Yeah, Tony's right. When it's it's because Mr. Shields and I work really well together, and I understand his concept and his dream or his imagination run wild with what he wants to put on stage, and I just follow that. I he's the boss, so if he tells me, he's like, "Can you do this?" Oh yeah, of course I'll do it just for you. You know what I mean? Because I'm that type of person when it comes to band or orchestra.
Mm,
Like I know exactly what I want, but I need to follow what he wants because it's together. We're working as a cohesive team.
right.
So when we heard Alexa sing for her audition, we looked at each other as soon as she left the stage. We just looked at each other and we couldn't believe what we just heard,
Wow.
and we both laughed because it's where was she last year?
Right. Yeah.
So we right then and there we knew she had to be on stage, and after we listened to everyone, then we talked about, okay, who's going to get what would be the best cast for a wonderful performance, and we both agreed that she was going to be the lead there.
And what year is she?
Thankfully, she's a junior.
A junior. Okay, good.
Yeah,
So you get another
thankfully.
year out of her. Good.
Yeah, another year.
So it just goes
Unbelievable.
to show what we can see from her next year.
Yeah, and it also shows and what a lot of talent that these high schools have. You know, a lot of I noticed too. A lot of students in the schools are a little shy to approach or to audition, right? So I talked to a lot of the freshman students. Like we did NJSLA testing this week, and there's a lot of students I haven't seen before, and freshmen, and there were a few band students that were there, so they were familiar. So I talked to a lot of the freshmen who were just like they haven't done anything yet. So I told them, it's like, even though I'm not your teacher, if you need someone to talk to or talk about like how you're doing in school or anything like that, someone to listen, someone you need someone to listen to you, just come up to the band room. And that's my first step, or rather their first step, to get into the band. And then I can ask them, hey, do you want to like go to the choir? You want to try singing? You want to try an instrument? And that's how I recruit them, because I want them to find their home. Sometimes they're just wandering around and they just need some guidance, and they find the band room and they start playing, or they find the cabers or they find the choir, and they just find their home and they just start participating in all the arts.
Where does that start, though? Why are there kids who are this talented who don't even know it? Like I'll never understand that. Like if I had a talent, I'd want to share it. How does that happen? Are kids just naturally shy? What is that about, Danny?
I'm not sure, honestly. I that's why if you see my lanyard, I have all these pins here. So I try to make it seem where they're comfortable enough to talk to me. It's like, hey, Mr. Conde, I have I'm having a problem here, or Mr. Conde, like you're the band director, like what do you think I can do the band? So I try to be more approachable in that way. So because I feel like they're just always shy, or there's other students who are like, or just saying, oh, you shouldn't do band, and they're like, okay, or don't do choir. Oh, okay,
Mm,
you know. So it's something like it's something where I talk to the band about.
mm,
In the band, you have many brains. So if one person makes a mistake or goes into or is playing in the correct without the correct articulation, it's easy to follow them, and you're following the mistake. So I tell the band, don't be a follower, you got to be a leader. So if all of them are leaders, then it all becomes a cohesive one organism, and then I keep the tempo. I have no power when it comes to the band. they have the power. So they all have to think as one and follow me, the leader, while they're all being little leaders in the band, right? And I think that's what the kids are doing. They're just finding someone that they think is right, and they're just following along instead of being independent. You know.
If you're just joining us, Danny Conde is the band director at Kearny High School, and he's also what's the title in Harrison?
Musical director.
Musical director at Harrison High School. I've known Danny a little bit, not as well as Tony, but I've just basically learned that he's one of the best teachers anywhere in the districts that we cover here at the Observer.
Thank you.
And I'm not kidding when I say that, and I'm not trying to blow smoke either. On our way out here, though, give us a little sense about the spring concert, the time, the location, all that sort of thing, so that if people want to go see this talented group of kids, to be able to find you.
Of course. So our spring concert is an annual spring concert. We have that next week, Tuesday, at 7 p.m. So at 7 p.m., we'll start our concert. You're going to see and listen to our wonderful choir directed by Miss Millie Gonzalez, as well as her advanced K-Birds, as well as the jazz band that's here, which I am a director of, as well as the concert band. And the reason why it's important to come out to our concert is because we're going to have a wonderful concession stand with our band parents who help out tremendously throughout the year. All that money is going to go into our account because we use that money for the students, right? We raise money just for them. And I also bake tres leches, so there will be little pastries there that I make just for the band, so we can get more money. And on top of that, we're doing a fundraiser. Right, it's from Snap Raise. There's right here.
Yeah.
Snap
Raise.
Now,
everybody, get your phone out right now and scan that QR code.
Yes, please. Now this fundraiser that we're doing is for our drum line. Now for our drum line, our drums right now is about more than 20 years old, and there's only a few of them. And because of Mr. Pamar, who's our new music teacher here, he's a percussionist. He's been trying to grow the program. Not trying has a sense of failing. He has been growing the drum line and the percussion section. There's at least 15 to 20 students who are wanting to play drums, and we don't have enough. And they're old. He's actually zip tying the harnesses onto the kids because it's difficult. Working with the Board of Ed, who's been really supportive, they're watching us really raise our goal, and we're going to work together to get these instruments for our band, because working together with the community, helping us out, with the Board of Ed helping us as well, we are able to get these drums for these students because we are the face of the community. You know, when you think about it, in high school, the first thing you hear is the marching band. The last thing you hear is the band when you graduate. So that's how important it is. So when you have these students who are dying to play, we need it. And I'm happy enough to work in this district where they're very supportive, and they're going to work with us to achieve this goal.
Tremendous. Tony, do you have anything for Danny on the way out?
Danny, thank you for coming on tonight. We really appreciate it. I'm going to do my darndest to get over there on Tuesday. I'm going to try to come early because I'm sure parking's going to be at a premium, correct?
I know. Yeah, you're very right.
Yeah. And if it's anything like you've done in the past at Harrison High School, boy, are we in for a treat.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Danny, I hope we can do this again. Seriously, this was a lot of fun. This is the first time we've done a three-person segment like this, so I hope we can do it again. Thank you so much.
Of course. Now that I know and I tried it out, I was a little nervous at first, but you guys are great.
It's pretty easy, right? The technology, you can do this. It's very,
easy. Very much so.
Thank you,
Dan,
brother.
we gotta get Colin Shields on with you next year to promote the play next year for Harrison High School.
Absolutely.
Yeah, you can count me as a regular.
Thank you, Danny. All right, thanks. We'll talk again, and give Kathy Estrella our best too, would you?
Of course,
All
no
right.
problem. You take it easy, guys. Thank
All
you so
right,
much.
Danny. That's
Thank you.
Danny Conde. He, of course, is the band director at Kearny High School. What a kid, man. Oh, my goodness. I talked to him on the phone a couple of times because of our connection with Kathy Estrella.
Sure.
I didn't realize what a genius he is. He is brilliant. He is so good at what he does.
Memorable. A lot of things that he does with the plays and with the bands. Like I said, Kev, you can compare some of his bands to a college band. It's that good.
Wow. Unbelievable. I'm so glad you pulled this together. Thank you.
Oh, you're
Seriously.
welcome.
So,
And thank you for hosting us
yeah,
tonight.
now let's switch gears a little bit. What's the weather forecast going to
Oh
be?
my
This has
God,
been a weird week.
unbelievable. Yeah, we're still sucked into the pattern. We had a little coastal storm come up the last couple of days. It really ruined our week. And I'm afraid Kevin's going to go right through Saturday. Now, for
Yeah.
tomorrow, for the field day at Kearny High School, good news, no rain. But I think really it's going to be a fist fight between the clouds and the sun all day. And we do get enough of sun. We'll get into the 70s. But more clouds, I think, than sun on Saturday. Perhaps maybe a brief shower. Not a complete rain out. And temperatures back in the 60s on Saturday. But the good news is Sunday, right through the middle of next week, milder. Usually, Kev, the normal high temperature is 74 degrees. The regular low temperatures around 54 will be around normal next week as far as our temperature. And the precipitation so far this week, almost an inch, about 6/10 of an inch of rain. There are gardeners out there. The soil temperatures are in the low 60s. So go ahead. No more frost is expected here at least. So you're able to go out and start your growing season, which is really, really good. So weather-wise, it looks like it improves after Saturday. But now until then, still this fight between clouds and sun, but mainly dry, especially tomorrow, and just maybe perhaps a shower passing on Saturday. There,
Now, you always talk about the ground temperature. Where
yeah,
are we with the ground temperature? Is it's good timing, you say, to plant and
yeah,
things like
62
that? Yeah.
degrees. Yeah, 62. We usually want 55 or above. So you guys and gals out there with the green thumbs, especially our friends at the Lyndhurst Garden Club, it's go time. And also the Kearny Garden Club, they have that little outdoor farm there on Passaic Avenue. It's go time.
Yeah, and don't forget too, the garden club in North Arlington just
Yeah,
reopened at Fisher Field,
yeah.
and that there Dan wants to grow that even more, so that's another spot too right there, and that's a beautiful new park with Joseph Seals Park over there too. So a lot of things going on here, right?
Yeah, we got Memorial Day coming up in a couple of weeks, and Cardinal Tobin will have that mass at Holy Cross Cemetery at 11 o'clock on Memorial Day, which is nice. I got to meet the Cardinal a few years ago. We do the EMS there, as you know, for North Arlington, cover that event, and everybody will have their Memorial Day parades coming up too, which I really look forward to too. The towns do a great job with Memorial Day. Not only our local towns here right around us, but especially too in Nutley and also in Belleville as well.
Absolutely. Now, is this a White Castle weekend, or is this a past weekend? What's going on there? Will you make
Now
it over to see Margaret?
we'll be seeing Margaret and Elizabeth on Saturday and Sunday. This week, so it'll be pretty good. And before we got on air, we were talking about our trip to Ohio State. My godson David, congratulations, David. Graduated with a business degree at Ohio State University, and it was really nice to be out there. It's the first time I flew since '94.
Wow, wow. What do you know? What kind of? I know you said you asked a lot of questions. So, what kind of plane was it?
It was an Embraer 175.
Oh, a small one. Okay,
Yeah,
okay.
smaller plane. Flight time from Newark was about an hour and 18 minutes. And I was amazed as a weather guy of all the layers of clouds and everything like that. And when we got up to flight level of 32,000 feet,
Wow.
I think they were pretty happy when I left because I had a lot of questions. And if they asked me if I wanted, if I could have went to the flight deck to see a tour up there, I would have. But it's a smaller
Yeah.
aircraft.
Yeah. It's only it's what is that? A 2-2 configuration? Two
It's
seats
a
on
two
each
one.
aisle.
It's a 2-1. Two
Two
on
one. Okay.
yeah,
Okay.
two on the left and one on the right.
Wow. Now, so
Yeah,
did you get a window seat at least? I hope.
absolutely. My brother wouldn't sit by the window, so I had a window seat. I got a ton of pictures. Yeah,
Wow.
it was really nice. Yeah.
That is
Um,
great.
both takeoffs though, we had a lot of clouds, and especially when we took off coming back from Columbus, we had a lot of rain. No convection, no thunder, thank God, or I would have been nervous. But the pilots were awesome. You know, they were very good. They explained exactly what was going on. We had a little bit of a wait there at Columbus to take off. So, I was a nervous flyer going, but I was like, an old pro coming back.
That's great. I'm surprised that you would have been nervous, but I guess if it's been 30 years,
Yeah,
you almost don't remember it. And flying back then even in '94 was completely different than right now, when you
right. And I
consider
went down to Aruba in '94 down there. That was about a 4.5 hour flight. And
yeah.
most of that flight, I got to see the ocean. So, except when we went to like the Caicos Islands there, you saw that. But we were over the oceans, got to see most of the ocean. These flights here, Kev, mostly were in the clouds. We didn't see too much of the ground, especially coming home.
That's too bad. It's funny you say that. My mother and stepfather are in Aruba right now,
Oh,
and
wow. Okay.
it must be hard to have to be in that type of weather, right? 80 to 81 degrees at this hour, for God's sake.
Oh, boy.
And my former roommate and my adopted sister Ashley Michelle is in the chat room, and she was just it was her birthday on May 1st, and she was just taking a cruise in the Caribbean too. So everybody's going away and going on vacations. I think it's time that we do something like that too. We need to take some time away. I'm not.
Well, I usually go down to Seaside Heights for a week every summer, and this year was a lot of moving parts, so we're not going to be able to do it the first time
Ah,
in about 22 years.
yeah,
It's a lot. I need a vacation after a vacation, Kev. There's a lot of work that goes into it. The
yeah.
planning starts in January, and we usually go in late August for about a week. And when you have pets like we do here, you have to have somebody come to take care of the pets. We have someone who takes care of the dogs, and that's just a lot of work. Having to set up like a little weather center down in the hotel room because I want to keep the business going. So and plus that could be the heart of hurricane season. Now with hurricane season, people you're going to be hearing the media talk about maybe an active hurricane season. The waters
Right.
are warmer. The world's coming to an end. Take it easy. We're going to take each system one by one this year. Remember, it only takes one to affect us to have a busy season. So those out there have a disaster supply kit ready to go, home emergency kit, normal stuff like you would do every year. Um, am I concerned that we're going to get hit directly here in New Jersey? Not really, not at this time, because a lot of times, folks, the upper level winds are not, formidable for tropical storms and hurricanes
Hmm.
that's develop until like late in the season. So I think right now we're good. But here at the Weather Center, me and Kevin will be tracking each and every one of them. The systems are keeping everybody updated. And remember, our season begins on June 1st. And here's the good news: if we have a T storm this year, there is a Tony this year.
No,
Yes.
really. Oh,
Uh huh.
very good. Okay, okay. Now I don't know. What do we want that to be? A ferocious storm, or do we want that to be a very calm and peaceful
Well,
storm?
the last time it came up,
Mhm.
Tony, Sandy was right by Tony, and we could have had the Tony could have been like Sandy. We only
Oh,
missed it by one
by one.
to have a historic storm. But I would never want to see for this area to have another Sandy.
No, no.
Not when they're doing evacuations of people in Harrison and Kearny and North Arlington at low tide with that devastation. And I don't wish that on anyone. That and a tornado we don't need here. Right now I have a friend just outside of Houston, Texas,
Oh
that's
God.
very nervous tonight because they are under the gun for not only tornadoes but possibly severe tornadoes, F2, F3s, and higher, EF2 and 3, which is the intensity scale, EF0 being the lowest and EF5 being the strongest.
Yeah, my mail carrier at the office and my friend, her name is Pat Long, and her daughter lives in Texas, and she said somehow they had severe damage in the neighborhood, but her home was spared. I don't know how people live through that on a regular basis, and it supposedly happens quite a bit. I mean, can you imagine that? They have to
No.
get go into the basement and all that, or the solid room. I can't imagine what life is like when that happens so often.
And I said to my friend Gladys when she moved down there, she was my Sunday partner EMS for many, many years.
Right.
I said, look, you really got to pay attention. When they say hurricane warning, tornado warning, you got to pay attention down there. You can't fluff that off. And neither should you here. But there, you got to be very, very careful because it can happen very easily.
Has there been a tornado, like a serious, really damaging tornado in New Jersey's history? Like, I don't ever remember one
Yeah,
that.
there's been many, Kev, but most of them are away from the area. What happens here, if you notice, during the spring and early summer,
Right.
you'll get that warm day, and then all of a sudden it'll get cooler. You'll have that cool easterly wind. That easterly wind will knock down the thunderstorms. The easterly winds, thunderstorms don't like stable air masses. So when they come over the Garden State Parkway, that West Orange Hill, they tend to die out. So your bigger storms, down the shore west of the Parkway, central New Jersey, Somerset County. Google the Statue of Liberty tornado of 1976. You'll actually see the funnel passing the Statue of Liberty. And that
Really?
was actually a tornado that went through either Staten Island or Bayonne at the time. So they can happen, but they're not very likely here to happen, if that makes any sense.
No, it does. It does, and thank God. I mean, I just can't imagine what the fear that must bring on to people when you see that
Absolutely.
coming at you. Oh my goodness, man, makes me
Yeah.
nervous just thinking
I'm
about
not a big fan of thunderstorms. I don't like nearby lightning strikes, especially here at the Weather Center where we do have a lot of antennas and equipment on the roof there. We have a couple of things a little taller than us, but we have houses on the corners have like castle type tips,
it. Yeah.
and they've gotten struck through the years, and we've never gotten a direct hit here. If we ever had a direct hit here, we'd be finished. And also, I would be remiss too before we go any further.
Mm.
Folks, like and subscribe. Our little show here. Kevin does a phenomenal job on Tuesday with the news, and we try to do the best we can with the weather on here on Thursday night. And Kevin always has the breaking news too going on all week. And Kev, any news breaking since we last heard from Tuesday?
It's been pretty status quo, thank goodness. Of course, you do know that George King retired as the chief
Yeah.
of the Kearny Police Department. Scott McPhee is now the chief of the Kearny Police Department. So I still think that's one of the bigger stories that we've had over the last couple of months. That George finally hung it all up, and now Scott's in charge. But I guess we're pretty lucky otherwise.
And we have one more to go because Scott Hedenberg from North Arlington Borough will be retiring in short order, I believe. Either the next couple of months, Scott's going to call it, hang it up and call it quits. And Scott was a very good chief for all those years for the borough of North Arlington. I remember Scott when he was a dispatcher for
Really?
the borough of North Arlington. Yes,
Wow.
I've been there since 1982.
82. And when did he start approximately? Around that time, or
He was in the mid to upper 80s as a dispatcher.
mid
Yes.
to upper 80s? Yeah. I saw him a couple of weeks ago. He came to George King's walkout, but I didn't ask him this time because the last time he said, "No, I'm not ready yet, but it's coming." But
Yeah.
I'm sure when he's ready, he will let us know. So,
Yeah, absolutely.
so Tone, why don't you lead us out like you've been doing every week? Great job, brother.
Thank you, Kevin. And for Kevin Kness and everybody, my name is Tony Mondaro here from the Harrison Weather Center. Have a great night, and we'll see you next week.
We'll see you next week. Tony, I will be signing off right now, too, but I will text you. Okay, buddy?
Sounds good.
All right. Good night, everybody. Take care.
Good night.